So let's take a look at Kamala Harris as a politician. Number one, she got the job as vice president because she's a DEI pick. She didn't do it on merit. And that's not a slam on her. It's not a personal attack on her. But if you don't know, she was selected by Joe Biden because of her skin color and her gender, then you're not in the real world. Biden even said he was going to pick a woman of color as VP. And there was Kamala. So she got it. She didn't get it on merit. She got it on a DEI. That's just the way it is in the Democratic Party. So the southern border then became a problem for both Joe Biden and for Vice President Harris. Here's what Harris said. Go.
While we are clear that people should not come to the border now, we also understand that we will enforce the law, and that we also, because we can chew gum and walk at the same time, must address the root causes that cause people to make the trek, as the president has described, to come here. And I look forward to engaging in diplomacy.
Okay, so that was March 2021, in the middle of the COVID thing. Number one, the Biden administration did not enforce the law, has not, will not. Number two, Kamala Harris is in charge of root causes, has not even issued a report. What'd she do? What are the root causes? We don't know. She didn't do anything. Zero. She went to Guatemala for a day and a half. That's it. All the money that was gone into Kamala Harris, I guess, was wasted because she didn't come up with anything. That's a deficit for Harris. The Trump campaign is smart. They'll put that front and center. Our second one was December 2nd, 2023. This is about Israel and Hamas. Go.
And we have been very clear also that, one, Israel has a right to defend itself, but we also must take into account that far too many Palestinian civilians, innocent people, have been killed, and Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians.
Well, what exactly should Israel do? Kamala Harris doesn't know. They must do more. Like what? Well, I don't know. So, Okay. Third soundbite, August 15th, 2023. This is on inflation. Go.
And Bidenomics is working. Since we took office, President Biden and I have created more than 13 million new jobs, including nearly 400,000 jobs right here in Washington State. Today, the unemployment rate is near the lowest it has been in over half a century. Inflation is down and wages are up.
Not true. Totally false, except for one. She said one true thing. That soundbite runs 32 seconds. She had one true thing. All right, according to the House Budget Committee, which studies all this, 72% of new jobs since 2021, that's Biden coming into office, were not created. They came back from COVID. 72%. Now, Kamala says that President Biden and I have created more than 13 million new jobs. How? What did you do? Get it. Okay. According to Investopedia, last year in Trump's administration, inflation was 1.9%. Okay. 3.5% in Biden's administration, 5.7%. So, yeah, inflation's coming down from a record 9%, but it's still 4 points higher than it was under Trump. Kamala, oh, no. Okay. Next one. It's true that jobs were 3.4%, one of the lowest rates ever, but now they're back up to 4.1%. So joblessness is rising, but that's picayune. I'll give her that. Okay, there is good employment, but wages aren't rising. Real wages are down 2.5% under Biden. 2.5%. They're down. They were up about 7% under Trump. So that's not true. But this is what you can expect. Because the people that Kamala Harris are talking to don't care what the truth is. They believe what they want to believe. They like Kamala. So you say whatever you want, and then the corrupt media is never going to challenge you like I just did. Way too hard to do that. All right. Now, and here is really what a very troubling thing about Vice President Harris. So after George Floyd was killed, there were riots, everybody knows, tremendous destruction, death, everything else. On August 27, 2020, here's what the vice president said. Go.
People are rightfully angry and exhausted. And after the murders of Breonna and George and Ahmaud and so many others, it's no wonder people are taken to the streets. And I support them.
Yeah, I support them. And then a little while later, she goes, but I don't support looting and rioting. But she supports people going into the streets. Oh, okay. But even worse, she, on June 1st, 2020, said this, quote, if you're able to, chip in now to the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota. Now, the only people arrested in Minnesota were violent people. They didn't invest peaceful demonstrators, right? But she calls for Americans to bail them out. Pretty extreme, right? Another advantage, and the Trump, I assume the Trump people are going to full bore on that. She is a bad campaigner. She has trouble articulating. It's like Biden. She can read the prompter. But when she gets into extemporaneous, like I'm doing right now, I don't have a teleprompter. I'm just talking to you. Okay? She gets into trouble. Roll it.
And we'll deal with what we need to deal with in terms of also as we move forward, all agreeing that we got to be smarter as a country in terms of who has access to what, and in particular assault weapons. And we got to take this so seriously. Seriously, if you are going to do it, of course, you have to take it seriously.
Okay. So, and we'll deal with what we need to deal with in terms of also as we move forward. You know, they call it a word salad. But the worst thing about Vice President Harris is that she's a hater. She is. And it's going to be vicious. Where do you see how vicious this is going to be? Now, Trump's no cupcake. Okay? He made a mistake, Trump. Instead of saying to Joe Biden, you did what was right for the country by resigning, which is what Trump should have done, he attacked Biden. Didn't need to do that. Biden's gone. Gone. Yes, was there corruption in keeping him in? Sure. And you can do that later. But if Donald Trump had come out and said, hey, I'm glad this is happening. It's better for the country that Joe Biden not be in charge. Okay? And that's history. And now we go on, and I'm going to defeat Kamala Harris. That's it. To roast Biden for the 8,000th time, I didn't know what that accomplished. But Harris is more vicious. In fact, she's probably the most vicious politician I have seen. Go.
This guy in the White House said neo-Nazis were fine people when they marched on Charlottesville. He's attacked communities of color and leaders of color by name. He's denigrated entire countries on the continent of Africa with foul language no president should speak. Let's speak truth here and today. This president isn't trying to make America great. He's trying to make America hate.
Let's speak truth here. Donald Trump did not call neo-Nazis fine people. That's a lie. Right? There's no way you could see or take his remarks at Charlottesville when they were talking about taking down the statues of Confederates as praising neo-Nazis. I write about that. I quote it in my book, The United States of Trump. So she's not telling the truth. Let's speak the truth here. Well, you're not doing it, madam. And then she tries to whip up the crowd to believe that Donald Trump hates black people. But she's saying that he's the hater. Trump's the hater. Yet she's using her forum and teleprompter words to tell her black audience that Trump hates them. Pretty low. Is it not? Okay.